Here we go, Nicolia 777. Yeah, let's play d5. Oh, the early bishop move. I've been experimenting with different lines. I have that standard line in my repertoire series for black against d4 sidelines, but I've been playing around with this fianchetto variation for a while. I wonder if I can quickly get in e5 here, like knight d2 or knight c3, followed by e5. You know, he's not immediately putting pressure on the d-pawn. He put the bishop there, so he's not pinning my knight. I could play d5 now, right? E5. He takes, I take. Let's try it. Just want to disrupt his planning a little bit. Okay, so he does not care to take. Okay, I don't want to obstruct the bishop. Need to keep an eye on that e-pawn now that I've stuck it up there. I could move this knight to f5 and trade off his bishop there. He doesn't care. Okay, let's do that. Let's just do that. This is kind of slow, taking a lot of time, but white played a lot of slow moves too. And we'll get some idea of his intention here. Yeah, so he wants to open up the H-file and maybe get a king-side attack. So I'm going to plan the castle queen-side. Aha. So he's going to attack on both wings. So what does this mean? This means his king is going to stay in the center. Okay, first of all, let's do an exchange here. Open up the center if he wants to try and keep it closed. Now if he pushes this pawn forward, I can go to a4 to c5. Or maybe I want to come around here to d5. Wonder, that's kind of a lot of moves, but say for example f5, knight here, 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 4 moves to get to e5, and then he could kick it. Not too impressive. Okay, if there's some tactics here on the d-pawn, I could actually take, and I'm hitting his rook. He moves the rook. I could bring the queen out, hitting here, and not that easy for him to defend the f-pawn. I'm in an adventurous mood today. Let's take it. Let's try this idea. I can just move the pawn forward. That's probably how he will deal with it. Okay, let's defend my c-pawn before my queen goes adventuring. And now he goes there. Okay. Drop back. I see. He's going to come to g5. So let's cover that. g5 would be hitting my bishop and the pawn over here, so that would cause some trouble. So he brings that knight out, so the knight is going to the c5 outpost, I would guess. And yeah, once again, it hits a pawn and it hits a bishop. Okay, that's interesting. Step aside. There's potential pins along the c file. Anyway, it's a better square for the king. Not so exposed. Like he could take the bishop with one knight and then play the other knight over here to hit my queen, taking advantage of the pin on the c-pawn. So we've got a big center here. Let's see if I can do something with it. And should I just push these pawns forward? Is there something I could do with the queen? Let's okay. Start by pushing the h pawn forward, so I can play rook to f8. And I'm going to ignore his little demonstration on the queen side. It's not going anywhere that I see, actually. His knight is hanging if he ever pushes the b pawn. Now he defends that. Okay, he hits here. So this would be a good moment to get my queen over to the f file. Too bad I can't move it 2 spaces forward. You know, I would be threatening to play a check and win his queen, but I can only move it 1 space forward, and he takes here, and I have no check. Okay, yeah, we'll just go after the f pawn here. Give up the g pawn. His king is still sitting in the center. We'll see how long it wants to do that. Still stops the b pawn from coming forward. Okay, so now I can push these pawns forward. Defend the g-pawn, threaten the e4. Maybe he will be inclined to sacrifice a piece back, kind of justify my play. Aha. Okay, let's push that bishop out of the way then. Now I know where his target is located. Also just threatening to take the g-pawn. Because of the pin. So I've got 3 pawns for the piece now. And I am threatening just to take on f2, I guess. Bishop takes, rook takes, queen takes. He needs to move the bishop out of the way, then it would be defended, right? Bishop takes, rook takes, rook takes, queen takes, king takes at the end. Yeah, just moves the bishop out of the way. So how do I intensify the pressure here? I could take with the rook first, and then I would have a pin. Then I could push the pawn. So rook takes, then pawn forward. And if the rook moves away, I can move the pawn again with check. If the king moves away, I can take the rook. He could play rook f3. Maybe that's something. I have the check here. king there, check here. Let's try this. Check here, king up, pawn here, or pawn here first. It's a check. Where does the queen go? I mean, where does the king go? He can't take the bishop. He can't block. So the king goes somewhere. King goes to the h-file. Ah, and check here. Oh, it's not mate because the rook comes over and defends. It's close to mate. Yeah, I had to go there. So let's think. Ah, this is the mate. Well, that's a nice game. It almost feels like a swindle, but well, I did like the way White was playing, so I wanted to kind of make it interesting and complicated, and I was willing to sacrifice to do that. So I was taking chances too. Anyway, we'll check that out with a postmortem and show how White should have refuted my play. See you guys later. Bye.